Dirk Nowitzki has made a public plea for Carmelo Anthony to consider joining him in the Lone Star State. I'm Anthony at the Collins with your ESPN headline. Dirk said to 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, if Carmelo would really love to come here, we would love to have him. Let's bring in Begley, who covers the Knicks for ESPN New York. Nowitzki said he would have no issue coexisting with Carmelo Anthony on the court. What are the chances something like this does actually happen?
Well, I think Dallas is certainly on Carmelo's list of suitors that he would consider because the Mavs have a bunch of cap space. They have a pretty talented roster. The team this past season took San Antonio to 7 games in its first-round series loss. So if Carmelo's looking for a team to contend for a championship year in and year out, maybe he considers Dallas because of Dallas's cap space and the idea that adding him and potentially another player could boost the Mavericks to one of their top teams in the Western Conference. So I certainly think that Dallas is on Carmelo's list.
All right, so Dallas is one option. What other teams would Carmelo be interested in playing with?
I think the Rockets and the Bulls are certainly good options for Carmelo. I think he will be interested in listening to hear the team's pitches to him during free agency this summer. Obviously, the re-signing with the Knicks are also an option. And as ESPN.com reported last week, the Heat are considering making a push for Carmelo as well. So he will have plenty of suitors on the table when he declares for free agency, and he starts that process on July 1st.
So what's the latest on his impending contract decision?
Well, he met with Knicks president Phil Jackson, head coach Derek Fisher, and GM Steve Mills in Los Angeles on Friday night. And I think he remains committed at this point to opting out of the final season of his contract and testing free agency this summer. Carmelo has until June 23rd to make a final decision there, but I think it would take a dramatic shift in thinking for him to change his mind and opt in for next season. And that means it's incumbent upon Phil Jackson to convince Carmelo that he can build a perennial contender around him in New York. If not, I think Anthony will seriously consider leaving the Knicks this summer.
Begley of ESPN New York with the insight. Great stuff as always. Now, if Carmelo stays with the Knicks, he can sign a contract worth $129 million over 5 years. If he leaves, he can only agree to a maximum contract worth $96 million over 4 seasons. For the latest on this story, make sure to keep it right here on ESPN.com. I'm Anthony at the Collins with your ESPN headline.